Cheers.
I'm looking forward to the
Cheers.
conversation.
Yeah.
Something that,
Thank you
in a
for
weird
having
way,
us.
you guys will. So I remember meeting the CEO of MetTel in South Beach, and kind of the whole family surrounded this business. So maybe you could tell me a little bit of the story about MetTel and the journey that MetTel's been on
Yeah.
to build to what you guys have become, which is a network, a premier leader in network, but also a leader in MVNO and for businesses and the value to clients to use you. So maybe you can dig in a little bit on that, Dave, because I'd like to hear from you, maybe a little bit who you are, where your position at MetTel, and then kind of dig in on that journey, because I have to admit, it's such an amazing journey. People don't know it because it's not some public big name, but
Yeah.
it's one of the most successful private technology companies in the United States.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I knew Marshall. I used to work at a hedge fund that he was running back in the day before he started MetTel, and he told me he was going to start this telecom company. I told him he was crazy. You'd have to work with all the customers. You're much better off working on Wall Street trading and making all the money. But what we did was we started off providing residential service in Manhattan. I joined up very early on. The company was founded in 1996. I started shortly thereafter. Marshall has built the company with a family mindset as part of the key to the success of the company. It's a huge company. We have over 900 employees. I can't tell you the revenue number, but it's large.
Yeah.
And it still feels like a family business. We've grown through products that our customers have asked us for. None of us came from a telecom background. We didn't work at AT&T and then start MetTel. We were all, in different individual businesses, and we came together and we just really focus on hard work and trying to provide for our customers a service that they may not be getting from the big carriers. We didn't know that when we got into the business that we were supposed to be really bad at providing service. We felt like we tried to provide good customer service, and that's how we've grown the organization, based on customers that say, "Hey, can you expand into this territory? Can you provide this service?" We started doing nationwide POTS service. Was one of the first things that we did, because we had customers that said, "I have an office in New Jersey and you can only do New York. Can you expand?"
Yep.
And it all started from there, and it's been growing ever since.
Yeah, I think one of the cool stories is, when you think about these public companies, they go take a lot of money, they go out to market, they go through these cycles of innovation. You guys have been steady. I mean, steady, consistent. Clients don't leave you. I mean, that's the one thing. I remember this conversation was Marshall and what's one of the brothers' names? I forget.
Dave?
Dave. And it was like, I was just starting this company, Rapid Scale, and we started having this conversation. And it was like, well, let me tell you what our success story has been. And before that, it was at Paytech Communications, which ended up selling to Windstream. So this whole journey of really suck less to compete against the AT&Ts, the Verizons, and the big boys has kind of been this concept that people selling technology have kind of bought into. It's a suck less, deliver a great experience, deliver a relationship that the client wants. And when you look at uptime, there's really no difference in technology's world today between using a MetTel versus an AT&T. I mean, the networks, the uptime, the performance is completely different over the last 10 years. And I see that really head on. I don't know how you guys see that.
Yeah, I mean, our average customer tenure is 8.5 years. So obviously that's several contract renewals. When we partner with a customer, what we usually do is we go in and provide a single service that they're interested in at the time. And then we go deploy it, and the customer says, "Wow, geez, you said that you were going to deliver this in this time frame, and you do." So for example, Extra Space Storage is one of our customers. We went in there, we delivered POTS in a box, a POTS replacement service. And after we deployed it, the customer said, "Well, gee, what else can I give you? Because you guys did a really good job for us." And we partner with our customers. We wrap a lot of tools around what we do to support the customers. We have AI in our network, which we could talk about. But ultimately, what we're doing is we're taking a commodity product, connectivity, cell phone service, whatever it may be, and we're making it so the customer would never consider switching away to save 50 cents because they would lose the support that we have built around them.
Dave, thank you for that. What criteria does the Gartner evaluate that contributed to MetTel being a 5-time Magic Quadrant awardee?
Yeah, we're really happy about Gartner's award. We've been in the Magic Quadrant for 5 years now, and that Magic Quadrant is based on managed network services. We are in other Gartner Magic Quadrants as well, but we're focusing on AI today. So the managed network services that we provide is not only connectivity, but it's also monitoring the network to make sure that we have the highest amount of uptime possible. Let me give you an example. We all know that broadband modems magically bring the circuit back up when they get rebooted, right? So we have a product where we put it out in the field, and you plug it into this regular, it looks like a regular USB plug, and the device itself we can send a command to reboot a modem just by power cycling the port, and that takes care of fixing that problem. Now, customers with retail environments, they don't want their employees going in and pulling wires and plugging things in. So this is just one of the examples that we do. We have AI monitoring tickets, and certain commands that you can send through a router will automatically fix 50% of the issues. So in seconds, our system is fixing with predictive analytics.
Well, I think that goes down the conversation of AI. So when we think about AI, Anne-Marie, how is AI playing in the mobility side? I mean, it's an area of that. I mean, MetTel, maybe you could talk a little bit about MetTel being the leader in MVNO mobility and the aggregation of the data, the distribution of the data between the different entities, how you buy it, how you distribute it, and how a company should look to MetTel for mobility. I mean, right now, we have a company that's $150,000 a month in mobility, and combined with expense management on that, and they're looking to engage you. And the reason why they are is because your story is so powerful in the data that you've driven, the AI tools you're using,
Mhm.
the platform that you built is very impressive. So maybe you can give a little detail on that. Be great.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. There's a lot of different roles that AI can play in mobility, right? And when we start to look at the customer benefits specifically, right, you know, customers are looking for the best way, quickest way to deliver service out to their end users. And a really important piece of that, is people are very mobile, to use the word these days, right? People are working remote, they're traveling, you can be anywhere. But the problem that you find is that maybe you're locked into a carrier, you're locked into a specific mode of communication. Well, what MetTel has done is said, hey, you know what? We really need to open up this multi-carrier space. So, we're the largest wholesaler to AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile in the United States. But what we really did is took it one step further with a solution we have called single SIM. Now, this single SIM will support, it's a data-only type SIM, but it'll support over 650 roaming agreements in 165 countries. So you think about your mobility, and we all know that services can be very different across the US, but when you look at it from a global standpoint, now you have the capability where you don't have to do anything. Your laptop, your tablet, whatever that may be, maybe it's a fleet device, right? Maybe it's a shipping container and you're monitoring IoT, will now intelligently go in and automatically find the strongest carrier. And it won't necessarily wait for that signal to fail. If it sees it slow, it'll go right through and look at all those different options it has for carriers, check the signaling, and instantaneously swap you to the strongest carrier signal that's available. Now, and to take that one step
I mean,
further,
that's pretty impressive. So there's a single
yeah,
SIM. It's a data intelligence SIM. You can roam the majority of the country in the United States, and it finds the best signal and path. So it's
Yeah,
intelligent.
I use it. I have an eSIM slot on my iPhone.
Yeah.
I have an extra SIM, so I have my primary is carried by AT&T for my cell phone and my data. When I'm driving down the street on a Teams call and my AT&T drops, my iPhone automatically switches to my single SIM, which is already connected to the best carrier in the area. So my Teams call doesn't drop. I don't have any issues. You can use it with Zoom or whatever application you use for your
So
voice.
yeah, the person on the go in the business
mhm.
world
Yep,
that's saying, okay, wait a second, I want less drop calls. I want better connectivity. It's finding the best path.
that's right.
Tell it. It's so
So,
so.
Let me
That's
ask.
interesting.
So, what do you think the next significant advancement would be with AI and mobility?
So there's a couple of things that I would speak to, and the first speaks to the benefits of the multi-carrier environment. And what we're really doing is being able to build out a single SIM, right? So you have these different carriers, but we can also build in a private network within MetTel. And we're currently rolling out what we call laptop as a service. So some people may be familiar with our mobile device as a service. We literally can get an order, um, process that order because of all our underlying AI, stage it, kit it, push out, a mobile device management profile, and ship it the same day if we get that order by 2 p.m. Eastern. And if it's a broken device, they put in a ticket by 3 through all the AI automation. We'll do that same process, pack it up, have it out the door by 5 if it's by 3, and it's in their hands the next day. So we there's a lot more to that solution, but it enables customers to get devices in their hands quickly. And we're going to do the same thing with laptop as a service. So, laptops are tough. You have new employees that come in, you have broken devices. How often do you hire a new employee and everything's set up in there? Well, we'll actually ship the device with the full configuration, all of the security, a single SIM, and get it to you overnight. So there's a lot of
Great.
exciting things that are happening. And, to add on to what Dave said about our organization is, we have some incredible engineers and we have some incredible leadership that has been with the company. Our C-level execs have all been with us since 1996. And so being able to have an open vision and open to the what ifs and having the people to deliver that without the roadblocks that you see with carriers is just so significant for us.
So, one thing with MetTel, customer experience is very important to MetTel,
Mhm.
right? To our clients today. So, what's changing with the AI when it comes to that customer service experience?
So there's a few things. So a big piece of AI and mobility, right? Since you have these amazing algorithms that can process things so quickly, is mobile threat defense. So a lot of times you think of that environment as it relates to the network, to your laptops, but people may not look at it so much with their mobile devices because now with mobile threat defense, you're able to look at, hey, what's happening in the network, right? What is going on with the traffic? And being able to intelligently, store that data, reuse it, but constantly look for new information for machine learning. We can look at, what's going on that user device. Is there any malicious applications that are there, right? And then you can also take a look at the user behavior. So is this device been stolen? Is there something else going on here? So that mobile threat defense, I don't think there's anybody in the room who hasn't been hit with some type of hack in one way or another,
Right.
business or personal or otherwise. And this just gives you that next level of security. And, with MetTel, again, we try to move very quickly and we try to build on ease of use. And AI has really made that happen for us within the mobility space.
So I'll make one comment here before I touch on Dave with one asset. So one thing that I've seen, and you could tell me how, I mean, you've been in this for a while, you've been in this for a little while, is that I've seen these, it used to be all about the major providers delivering their one solution and delivering their one level of experience. Okay. So as we've seen this, and as the world's gone to a platform economy, you're looking at there's so much that comes after your application, security, compliant, XDR, MDR, whatever it might be security wise, it's a lot to manage. And so, IT leaders out here trying to manage it. You've got 10 things coming your way. I think really what you're going to see in this next iteration, and this was really through being head of cloud for the third largest cable company. I saw this through data and statistics that small enterprise and down is looking for somebody that can help build that story and simplify that story. Okay. And so managed services as a business model is really who MetTel is. It's your business model. Mobility, network. We haven't talked about your SD-WAN, your edge product set, how you manage that with the best technologies. Maybe you could touch on that a little bit, Dave, as kind of your edge technology. And then kind of close out in where you're going with your platform. Because the way you're evolving your software platform and the way we're going to API interface into it and create additional statistical reporting and data outputs for our clients is really what excites me. It's because you guys have been able to innovate because your business model is to layer a strategy together to deliver an experience to the client.
Yeah, I'll touch on the SD-WAN real quick. One of the things that's nice about, and another thing that Gartner liked about us, is we're an MSP. So we have a company called MetConnect. So when we deploy our SD-WAN, we're going to put a MetConnect IP address out facing public IP address on that device. So what that means is whatever network services you have behind it, whether it's DIA from Comcast or from AT&T, whoever, you name the carrier, you name the solution, whether it's Starlink. We have Starlink in our portfolio now. So we're going to give you a static IP for that location, basically. So you'll never have to touch an IP address ever again in terms of setting up routes in your network. You change the backbone from AT&T to Lumen because you feel like it. You don't have to change any IP addresses. That's all set up. The other thing that it does is when the carrier, whoever it is, AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, when they see a MetConnect IP address, that kicks it out of the internet and goes right over to my NNI interface, my network-to-network interface with all those other carriers in one of my 20 pops in the U.S. as well as internationally. So you basically skip the internet, which saves you a lot on latencies, you can imagine. So that's one of the neat things that we're doing with our SD-WAN. The other thing, we also have our own orchestrators in our network. So we're not riding to VeloCloud somewhere in the internet. You're coming right to my network, to my VeloCloud gateways. In terms of innovations in our portal, one of the things that I really like when I show customers our portal is we talk about, structuring the bill around how they structure their business. Yeah. So for example, Dick's Sporting Goods has Dick's Sporting Goods for their stores, Golf Galaxy, Field and Stream, so all these different divisions, and then GL codes for the store numbers underneath it, so they can look at their spend and their utilization based on, the division of their company. We do wireless usage predictive analytics. So we can tell you ahead of time, you can lower your monthly spend this month before the bill gets generated because you're using less than you normally do. So we're going to lower your plan. We're going to save you money. So there's like a lot of different things that we do from a reporting perspective. We'll email, the monthly report that the spend management team wants to look at. We'll upload stuff into Tango. However you want to tie our network and our Bruin portal together, we're able to do.
I love it. Do you have any more questions?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
Great.
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. To procuring more IP.